on why the slope's going to be 0, but I just want to be sure.
So 3, 5. We actually did cover. Yeah, we got into slope. You totally did.
I thought we stopped at the x equals. You said you were going to show us that today. Because that's what I asked you.
Special cases, we haven't really talked about them yet, but we did cover the idea of slope for sure.
Yeah.
What's the, yeah, so which one is it again?
55.
Oh, okay, well there you go. I like it. So, this is perfect segue. Tie in your question, and throw it up on the board. We talked about special cases by themselves before. Let's see if you guys remember. What kind of line would y = 7 be? Horizontal. Not up and down. What does y control? What's the y-axis control? The y-axis is up and down. If y is 7, you can't go up and down. You got to stay at 7. So what stays at 7? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's y = 7. So for example, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what point is this? 2, 7. That's right. And what point is this?
1, 7.
So I want you to realize the equation of a line will always be what matches the requirements of the equation. Right? The graph of it will. Y must be 7. So of course every point on the line is going to have a y piece that is 7. Is there any restriction on x?
No.
No, there's nothing in here about x at all. I can't control x at all. He just goes crazy. I could be a million. I could be -2. Yay. And y is like, I gotta stay 7. Is that? That's what they actually sound like. Okay. So, for this problem, it says, so what's the slope of this? 0, because there's 0 rise. That's the definition of this. Don't go anywhere. Stay at 7. Run all you want to. So it's 0 over a lot, which is 0. So this has a slope of 0, which makes sense. A flat ground should have a 0 slope. Thank God. This one is x equals -1. Is that it?
Yeah.
This is number 55. And it says, what's the slope? Well, what kind of line would this be? Vertical. I like it. Straight up and down. You can't move left and right. X controls left and right. It's set at -1. So you can only go up and down. What's the slope of this guy? Undefined. How much does it run? 0. So it's rise over run. So it's rise over 0. That is undefined. Or I think I told you yesterday, it's also known as infinite slope.
Yeah.
But undefined is what most people probably know. So this is undefined slope. That slope is undefined. Yes?
3.7.
Dude. 3.7 we definitely aren't in yet. We'll get there. Hold on to that question. I love that though. Yes?
35, number 65.
Oh, sweet. So this is an example sort of related to the grade problem. So the problem is, let me see. If I ask you, let me see if you guys remember this. What's a better way to write this problem? And believe it or not, this is related. 4 1/3 divided by 2 2/7. What's a better way? Yeah. What do you immediately do? You make it into
Improper
improper.
fraction.
I like it. So look at this problem. This is number, what'd you say? 65, 35. This is the one about the slope of the roof, right? So they give you a roof on a house, and they tell you this and this. This is 2 foot 5 inches. And this is, where'd it go? 8 foot 2 inches. Total, just converted in inches, which is related to what you're doing here. If I convert, so what does this become if I make it improper?
13/3.
Yeah, 13 over 3. Isn't that just like making 4 into 12 thirds? Plus 1/3 is 13 thirds. So making the whole piece match the idea of the smaller piece. So how many? 2 feet 5 inches. 2 feet would be how many inches?
24.
24. So 2 feet 5 inches would be
29.
inches. I like it. And that's the what for the slope?
That's your
Rise. And then 8 feet 2 inches, same idea. 8 times 12
96.
plus 2. It's just be 98 inches. So those are the numbers you use for the slope. Yeah, you can't really divide 2'5" by 8'2" really easily enough. Is that cool? All right. Depending on how much snow you get in your area, you want that slope to be certain things. Yes?
It'll be the same for 66.
Yeah, same idea for 66. Except theirs a little bit easier. They give them both in just 0.4 feet, 5 feet. You just got to set the ratio, rise to run, and you're done. This was a little freaky because you had to convert the units so that you could actually divide them. Is that decent? You guys see the issue there? You can set up the rise over run, but it don't mean shit if you can't actually do the division. Okay, maybe. Cool. Anything else from homework stuff? All right, I'm an optimistic fool. That means everybody's doing it. It's going fine. Okay. So let's see. We got through 3.5. Before we get into 3.6, I do want to take this little time to get into the graphic calculator. There were a few problems we had to skip for the moment for the last test. I didn't quite get the graphic calculator part to you guys. This you can download for yourself, or I can print it out and give it to you if you want to. Come by my office, whatever. It's up on the website. It's nice. It's what I call the calculator Bible. You can have it sitting next to you as you do homework. You can't use it on the test though.
Yeah.
You have to know how to use that calculator. So let me pull up. Let's see if this works. Go away. So this is my little TI emulator. It doesn't want to work. It's okay. There he goes. Sweet. Okay. So does everybody have a calculator that wants to play along? Just bring up an ID or something. Maybe you can borrow one. If you don't have an ID, you can sign a $50 bill. I'll take that. Yeah, wow. Make sure it turns on before you get too far away. Okay, we're going to do just a few basic things. I am going to work up to the point where I'm going to show you how to get the calculator to solve any equation. Shit, yeah. I want that little teaser in there to make sure you guys are paying flipping attention. Let me try this dude. The calculator costs enough money. It better be able to do some shit, and it can solve any equation you want it to solve. That's kind of nice. So, just the basics. If you've never even touched this thing before, this is the first time you got it in your hand. A lot of people have held those, so you probably should use some Purell. Don't even think about that. You're not really germaphobe. Just to show you a couple things, so like if you did 78 divided by 11, everybody do that with me. Who wants to play along? 78 divided by 11? Of course it's that. So it's just like a scientific calculator in the fact that you can see everything you're wanting done. In an old style calculator, you put 78 divided by 11 and the 78 disappeared. So it's really hard to really put a full thing in there and make sure that you have the order of operations going to work out the way you want it to. Now, one of the first things I want to show you is if I wanted to take the square root of this, there's a little button down here above the negative sign. And by the way, while we're talking about it, there's a negative sign and there's a minus sign. They're hardwired differently. If you use that when you mean that, things are going to be bad. Right? So, oh, thank you, Karen. Yeah, maybe, oh, one more, Karen. You can come up here too? Oh, that one probably. That first, yeah, okay, cool. Thank you. Anytime I'm doing something and you can't see it, please, dear God, let me know. That would suck. Oh, right above the negative button, see how it says ANS? That means answer. It's the last number on the screen. So right now, that memory position, ANS, answer, has that number in it. So what if I wanted to take the square root of that and I don't feel like writing all those damn numbers? I would say, like this, I would say, where's the square root symbol, by the way? Yeah, see how they're related? Since square root is the opposite of x squared, it's right next to it. So if I had second x squared, I get a square root symbol. Now some of you guys have the newer calculator where the square root symbol just gets bigger. You guys with me? So everybody hit the square root symbol. Any of you not have a parenthesis show up? A few guys that are willing to raise your hand. When you start typing, the square root symbol is just going to get bigger, which is really nice. The emulator, unfortunately, is an older one. I just don't want to close the parenthesis until I've got everything in it. Yes?
It doesn't have a parentheses. This has the square root with the little boxes.
You're right. You're good. Now watch. When you put this, your square root symbol is just going to get bigger. Mine is going to stay the same. So I'm going to hit second negative to get the answer, meaning this number.
Yeah.
Now the square root of 7 should be between 2 and 3, because 7 is between 4 and 9. Just so we know what to expect, right?
Can you do this one more time?
Oh, definitely.
You lost me. I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
Lost.
So I get 2.66, blah, 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 blah.
You don't have to close the front.
No, you don't, no. Only if you had more stuff to write, and it's outside the square root, then you want to close in parentheses. So let me do it again. So 78 divided by 11. Pop. And if now your calculator has a lot of memory positions, the most important one, the most easily accessible one is that one. I'm not going to do it today, but there's a way to store a number in one of these letters. See the letters? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Yeah. Right? You can store data in letters and go insane a little bit. This is the one you're going to use the most often, little ANS. It's got the last number on the screen. So again, if I did my shift key, which is called the second button, second x squared, because I want the square root, which is above the x squared. That's what a shift key does. So I got my little square root symbol sitting up there. And then if I hit second negative, it's going to bring up that memory position, which holds the last number on the screen, which right now is this number. Enter. Now what should I get if I square this number? See if you guys...
The same thing.
I should get back to this, right? So watch, what happens if you just hit x squared? The calculator guesses that you mean I want to square that last thing. So see how it just automatically puts ANS for you. It's like, oh, you want to square that? Okay. So if you just hit x squared, it's going to put this in there for you. So that little ANS just means the last number that was on the screen. Yes, ma'am?
If you punch the wrong button, how do you go back?
Oh, just hit clear. Yeah. If you hit clear once, well, let me just do this real quick. Pop. And let's say I did like, oh, what the hell is that shit? So if you hit clear once, it'll clear the line. If you hit clear again, it'll clear the whole screen. I like it. I like it. Another, oh, yes.
So I get like
Oh, yeah. There you go. Well, now you have to hit second negative. Shift. Second is like your shift key.
yeah.
Yeah. Because I want to get the ANS, that thing right above negative. I like it. Now, the next most important key to know about when you're really unfamiliar with this calculator, if you have big thumbs or something and you hit the wrong button and you get somewhere you have no idea what the shit you did. You're like, what is this shit? You hit second mode, quit, right there. See quit? If you hit second mode, quit, it always takes you back to this, what we call the home screen. the calculation screen. You can type in numbers. Can we stop right there? How are we doing so far? This is the real basics, especially if you've never even touched this before. Okay, let me think.
How do you get it clear like that? Mine's messed up. I'm gonna get like I got mine from the I got mine from the library. I'm something wrong.
Poor little thing. So many people. I think it's about up now. All right. Let's see. Oh, something else that's really good. Let's say you put in some long. Let's do this. 4 times parentheses 5 minus 7. If you want to play along, put this in there. So 4 times. Let me start up. 4 times parentheses 5 minus 7 close parentheses square plus 2 times 6 divided by 3. Okay, so say you put the whole thing in. You're kind of like checking your work on an order operations problem, right? Say again? Right there. Yeah, a little x squared. That means square the thing.
I was always pushing 1 when I was doing the problem before.
Oh, okay. Say again?
Is that the same thing? The one on top of it? Oh, it's the same thing.
Oh, the one on top is the square root. Yeah, so don't hit the second x squared. Just hit x squared for the square. So let's do this. Let's see if we get the same answer. So I get 20. And let's say, is everybody cool so far? Is everybody good?
I got 32.
Well, that's different.
You got 40.
If you average those, you get right now. Plus, let's see. You got 20. Get out of here. Why do you have 7?
Where did the 7?
I don't know what's wrong with you.
Yeah, I'll put a 4 there for you. Try again.
Oh.
Does it work? All right. Now, let's say that you did this whole long ass thing, and you were supposed to put a minus right there instead of a plus, and you're like, this isn't that long, but let me just show you a nifty editing tool for this. If you have a long thing you did, and you're like, it's supposed to be a minus right there. Just hit either, if you have this kind of calculator with a square root that has a parenthesis on it, you hit second enter. That'll actually work for all the calculators. For the newer calculators, you can just hit the up arrow and hit enter when you get to the one you want to edit. So now look, I can move around. I can move back. I can just put a minus there, top. Right, that's kind of nice to edit something you put in, especially when it's kind of long. You're like, I don't want to go through that again. How are we doing so far? Is that, yes?
Can you do it again, minus?
I missed it.
What happened, sir?
How do you copy it?
So hit second, enter. That brings up the last thing you put in. Now watch. You see how that's the one that's got a minus?
Yeah.
If I hit second, enter again, it brings up the thing before that.
How do you do a slash?
That's divided by. Yeah. Do you guys get that? Is that cool? If I hit second, enter again, I'm going to get something from earlier. Second, enter again, I'm going to get something from earlier. Yes, ma'am.
Mine highlights the whole equation.
Yes. So if you hit the up arrow and you hit enter, it'll copy it down for you, and then it can move around in it on the newer calculators. Yes. I like it. How are we all doing? Are we all right? By the way, if you borrow one or you have your own calculator, and it's getting hard to read, like the screen, you can't really see it too well. If you hit second, and then up arrow, hold the up arrow down. It's not going to work on the computer. But if you hit second and then hold the up arrow down, it's going to make the screen darker. If you hit second and hold up the down arrow, it's going to make the screen lighter. Did I get that the right way around? Yeah. Now think about it. So even if it doesn't have a battery warning if you have to make your screen darker and darker, that's telling you, hey, the battery's about to flip and go. You gotta watch out. All right. Yes.
How much of those calculators are the backlit screens?
Oh yeah. Well, actually, they're not that much.
Well, mine was 120.
Yeah, they're about the same range as the other ones.
Compared to the 145 off Amazon or any other one else.
The one that I could find didn't have the backlit screen.
Oh, yeah, the backlit screen kicks ass, especially right now. All right. All right. So, you want to get a hold of one of these if you haven't gotten a hold of it yet. You can rent them, like I said. That's on the syllabus, the website for renting these. You can check them out from the library. Use them in the Math Study Center. Get them from a friend. Look on Craigslist. Be careful, don't die. You want to get this so you can just play around with it. Just use it as your normal calculator so you get used to it. Now, let's move a little bit into graphing because that's where we are.
Yeah.
Okay. What looks to be a good place to start if I want to try to graph something? Y equals. That's crazy. Now, graph will graph what I've put in. I haven't told it anything yet. So everybody hit y equals. Let's see what it looks like. Hopefully it's got y equals. If you got stuff in there, go to it and hit clear. Get it out of there. So we're all agreeing on the thing. If you got x, y, or you got r and shit, if you got something that's not this, let me know right now. You just have a different mode. Somebody was messing around with the calculator. So everybody got this y1, y2, y3? That wants to play along? Okay. So let's all try to graph this line. Let's graph this line 2x. Here's your x button right there. See that? That right there is your x button. See it? Right there? Whee! Next to alpha, x. Right next to alpha is your x button. So there.
I like an equation.
Oh, well then clear it out. Oh, you're good. Now put 2. X. Someday I'll just be able to push the buttons on that thing. 2x minus 3. Now tell me a couple things about this equation. What's it going to look like when I graph it? It's going to be curvy. It's going to be curvy. It's going to be straight. It's going to be a straight line because y and x are both to a first power. Remember that? Y equals mx plus b. So what's the slope of this line? 2. And what's the y-intercept? 0, negative 3. So it should start at negative 3 and go up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. So it should look like that. Let's see. Let's hit that other button somebody said earlier. Now, let's hit it and see what happens. Graph. All right. Mine looks nice. Somebody else's might not look so nice. Yeah. All right. So y equals makes sense to go put stuff in. A really good thing to do immediately after putting an equation in is to hit zoom. And what do you think zoom does? Zooms in, zooms out, zooms at a certain area. It also has an option in there that says zoom standard, which brings your negative 10 to 10, negative 10 to 10. So that's called zoom standard, is your standard window. So if everybody hits zoom, do you see how number 6 is standard? So you can arrow down to it and hit enter, or you can just hit 6. Just cut to the chase. So everybody should look like this now, if you do that. Let me know if you have any trouble. Please, if you're getting error messages, don't just sit there and go, well, this is my life. Yeah.
Okay, so at first I got an error, and then I went back to this, and I unhighlighted the plot 1, but now it's like,
Oh, let me see, I know what's going on. Nope, not that. What's it doing? Oh,
No.
now hit zoom. 6. That's a
Oh,
standard
gotcha.
zoom, yeah. How's everybody else doing? Oh,
A question, the third, is that the same thing as saving? How do we save it?
oh, the graph will stay there until you go in and change it. There's no real saving. It's just you override it as you put a new equation. Yeah. Oh, let's see.
I never heard the why.
Here is where you put that equation. That's a liar. Minus. Liar. Because it didn't have anything to graph for you.
I had a problem, so I just went.
Say again?
I had a problem, so I just.
You're okay now? Or what'd you do?
He said like quit, so I just quit.
Oh, was it What did you do? Oh, I see. You put negatives and minus. Alright.
Can I rent this one from you?
Say again?
Can I rent this one from you?
No, sorry. It's the department's calculators.
Yeah.
Yes. Do I have the audio on?
Yeah, because it's like we hear like a little beep.
Oh, what kind of noise?
You don't hear it?
No.
Oh, you talking about from the speaker? Oh,
I was like, let me-
Oh, I'll see. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, no, it's different. Might have to get that checked out.
Let's see. There's not as many controls in this room. Let's see. Volume.
You got the volume on.
There, it's gone.
Well, yeah. Turn the volume down. That's me. By the way, real quick. There was remember the dress that was blue or gold or whatever they said?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Remember the audio thing that some people heard one thing, some people heard another? Dude. So do you know as you age, your ears, of course, start to pick up certain frequencies less and less. So it actually had both things in it. Depending on your age, you heard one or the other thing more predominantly. So, yeah.
Wait, so what's up with the dress then?
The dress is just some shit. I don't know. Who cares what color it is? Wear it if you like it. Right? I don't know. The dress thing was kind of like, damn, must be a slow news day.
I want black and white.
I love it. All right. Now, we can. Let me see how much I want to do with you guys here. Watch this. You see right above graph where it says table. All right. Let me do one thing with you guys first. Now that's going to do exactly what you might think. It's going to show you an XY table. But if I go to this first, see where it says table set above window? Just everybody do this real quick for me. Let's make sure everybody's got the exact same settings I do. So, for example, if one of your ask is highlighted, go down to it and highlight auto instead. Make sure there's a 0 there. Make sure there's a 1 here. So if anybody needs help, let me know. How did I get there? I went second window to get to table set. So see what this says is it's going to start at 0, and it's going to step by 1s, and it's going to set it up automatically. So now if I hit, instead of graph, if I hit second to go up to table, I'll get an XY table of values. And that you can move around it. Which again, it's not like amazing. These things should be able to do stuff like this. Costs enough money. But that's where you can get a table of values that's already made for you. Right? That's nice. Yes?
After you finish table set, then how do you get to that?
Oh, so table set, if everything looks good, if everything, it starts at 0, it's 1, auto. Then you hit second graph to get to table.
Okay.
I like it.
Oh, wow. I got some numbers. And I cleared it, 0 and 1. I had that.
Oh, I see, but you forgot to change the, see how the ask is highlighted? Go down, okay, hit auto, hit enter, and then go back to table. I like it. So I'm not believing right now that if you've never used this calculator before, you got to remember everything I say today. What I'm hoping to do is give you enough that you feel comfortable to play with this thing, right? I'm going to show you, I want to work to the point, like I said, where I can show you how to solve any equation using the calculator, right? This ain't good enough for on a test. Don't say, I pushed this button and then an answer came out. No, I don't care. Calculator passes the course, has a nice life. You take the class again. So let me set up a problem. I know it's a little dark here, sorry. Can you guys see this? 4x minus 3. You can do it, Jeff. Equals negative x plus 5. I like it. Let's make it, let me change one thing. Yeah, let's make it 2. Just so we don't get any freaky ass numbers yet. All right, so this is not a hard equation, right? But I want to start with one that we know the answer to. You guys can pretty much get the answer quickly. This is not difficult, but what I'm about to do will work no matter how easy or hard the equation is. Stay with me. So if I graph 4x minus 3, can somebody tell me what it's going to look like? What's the slope going to be? Yeah, 4 over 1. And what's the y-intercept going to be? So I'm looking at this side as its own line. Because it is a line, yeah, 4x minus 3. So if I go down and I go up, 1 half 4 over 1 half 4 over 1, I get this line. We pretend like it's straight. What about this side? What's true about this line? What's the y-intercept? 0, 2. And it goes down 1 over 1. Look, where do you think the answer is to this equation? This equation says this line equals that line. That's what the equation says.
Where they intersect?
And where do they intersect? Now, this point is 1, 1. What variable is in the equation that the equation gives a shit about? X. So the answer to this would be X is 1. Now, if you work it out, has anybody worked it out? You add X, that's 5X. You add 3, you get 5. Divide by 5, you get 1. Holy shit. All right, so let's see how to make the calculator do this for when the equations get more disgusting. So go back to y equals. Make this a 4 now. 4x minus 3. Now you see why there's so many y's here. One reason is I want to solve an equation, so I want to put multiple things in. Here's one side. And then the other side is going to be negative. Careful, negative is down here, remember? Not minus. Negative x plus 2. Now real quick, before we do this for real, I'm going to put a minus sign here and just show you. If I go to graph it, let's see what it does. There. I love this. This is the best error to get because you notice the second option. Go to, right? Second option. If you hit go to, it'll actually put the cursor on the problem. You guys understand? So when you have a go to option, oh, thank God. Go to, and I'm like, oh shit, I put the wrong negative in. I meant this freaking negative. All right, so let's graph this. Let's see if it looks roughly like my gross graph here. Yay! Yay! I like it. And then you can. I don't know if I want to show you this quite yet, but let me show you one last thing, and I think we'll get into some. We'll get back into section 3.6. Look under zoom. My favorite one is the first one. Let me just show you how this works. It's kind of neat. Zoom box means you can draw a box around a part of the graph, and it'll zoom in on that section. So if I hit zoom box, if I hit the up arrow, see how the cursor, that's going to be 1/4 of my box. Enter. And if I hit the down and over arrow, now I open the box up. See how I'm drawing a box around that intersection? So I can zoom in on it. Pop. And now it zooms in on it. Whee! I like it. So I'm going to stop short for right now, I think, of showing you all the details about how to... You can see it's about 1. It's not really in the right place yet. So this is a way we will eventually be able to solve any equation ever by calculator, which is not good enough for you getting a degree. You got to know this shit yourself. This is an awesome way to check stuff. So, okay. Anything else while the calculator's here that you want to ask about? Yes.
What happens when you do zoom box and you try to do like the 2 points, but it like says error?
Oh, if you don't make an actual box, if you do this, if you just move straight across or something, you haven't made any area. So when you hit enter, did you get this syntax?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you have to move over and up.
The same amount.
You have to open this up. I can't zoom in on a line because there's no area. You gotta move over and up or down, and then it'll zoom in on that area. You give it a line, you don't give it any area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you gotta square a part off for it to zoom in on.
But to like place a point, you press enter.
Yeah, you hit enter. It's a corner,
Mhm.
and then you move over and down or up, and that makes the box open.
Oh, you don't hit enter like when you're trying to make another corner.
When you get to the other corner, then you hit enter.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, go to enter.
All right, here we go.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So we hit zoom 6 again. So it comes back to normal. If I hit zoom box, I can move the cursor around so I can get one corner. There's one corner. Now hit down and over before you hit enter so you get to the opposite corner. Bam! Then it will zoom in on that area. I like it. Craziness. Now you start to see why maybe this thing costs a little bit of money. I mean, that's not even everything it can do yet. Shit. Maybe. So, I mean, if I were you... No, wait a minute. I don't know if this is true. Because me, I'm a geek. I remember even when I was like 7 and somebody come over to help my mom with her taxes, I wanted to play with this calculator. Yeah. I wonder what Jeff's going to do. So, yes, that's true. What was I about to show you? I totally forgot. I completely forgot. What's that little discussion about that? Blah, 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 blah. Oh, here. I would hope to God you would just kind of play around this shit. Look, try x squared, and it looks like a U shape. Yay! And then you're like, well, what about x to the 5th power? What's that look like? Well, make it a to the, Jeff. Here's your to the button, by the way. See how they only have squared? Well, what if you want something to the 5th power? There's your to the, x to the 5th. So if I graph that, that looks funky as shit, right? To be honest, it looks like a parabola, a really skinny parabola, where half of it fell out. Right? It's like, I don't know. Okay. All right, so don't worry, you cannot blow this thing up by pushing a certain combination of buttons. You can play around with this thing. If you get into a position where you're like, I don't know how to undo what I did, I can put it back to normal for you. Okay? Okay, so let's get back into section 3.6.
Ooh, are there any calculators that have more than 2 dimensions?
Oh, there's online, if you want to, you can look at something. One of my students in Calculus 3, 2 years ago, he made a 3-dimensional plotter called Plot.Ninja. That's what he named it. He was a computer programmer, he took my course, and he made this program, and it kicks ass. And you can, when you open it, when you go to Plot.Ninja, it starts with a graph, and you can rotate it, so you can graph things 3-dimensionally. There are calculators they try, but they're just so pathetic that you can't really see the 3D. It's crazy. You got to go to the computer to really be able to see it well. Okay. So let's go back to the green book. Makes everybody's life easier. Yeah, so we sort of we took a baby step into section 3.6. We did talk about mx plus b, so we got decently into there. Let's see, yeah, we did a couple problems in 3.6. On the next page. Good Lord, somebody's got to get the brightness way the shit. Okay. So let's do a review problem. Well, let's see. We stopped short of this, but now this should be a easy question. Is x vertical or horizontal, this kind of equation? Yes. Because x is left and right. If it has to stay here, it can't move left and right. It can only go up and down. So -2 can only go up and down. Kabam.